I can still picture the exact moment everything in my life turned upside down. I was standing in line at the grocery store, holding a basket crammed with random junk, frozen lasagna, some fancy-smelling trash bags, that kind of thing. Then my phone buzzed, and out of habit, I glanced at the screen. It was a message from Qley, my fiancée, the woman I thought I was going to spend forever with. Or so I believed. I tapped open the text, expecting something harmless, like a question about dinner plans or another tweak to the wedding guest list. But instead, I got blindsided. 8 little words hit me like a punch to the gut. Wedding's off. Expect a call from my lawyer. That was all she wrote. No backstory, no emotion, not even any real punctuation, just one cold period at the end, like the final nail in a coffin. The whole thing felt sterile, like she was canceling a subscription or backing out of a lease. I just stood there, stunned. Didn't even realize the cashier was talking to me until she repeated herself. Twice. Like a robot, I swiped my card, gathered my stuff, and drove home in total silence. When I got there, I just sat in the driveway, staring at nothing for 15 full minutes before I even reached for the door handle. I wasn't crying. I didn't scream or curse. I was just quiet. The only thing I texted her back was, "As you wish." And I knew exactly what she meant with that message. It wasn't just the wedding that was off the table. That was her way of saying, don't reach out again. Let the lawyers handle it. That was the message. She thought she dropped the mic and walked away with the upper hand. But she forgot one very important detail. Just before this whole mess started, Qley and I had signed the early paperwork to apply for a mortgage together. It was for a beautiful townhome in a brand new development just outside of Seattle. She was the one who picked it. She had the whole thing mapped out in her head, paint colors, furniture, even where her friends would hang out when they visited. She'd already told folks it was basically hers. But here's the thing, nothing had been finalized yet. And even more crucial, we weren't married. That meant I was still legally flying solo. So before I even took my coat off that night, I pulled out my laptop, logged into the mortgage portal, and backed out of the application. 3 clicks. That's all it took. And just like that, the whole deal came crashing down like a house made of dry twigs. Before I continue, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, put likes, so let's continue. Now I know what you might be thinking, maybe it sounds petty. But after 2 solid years of building a life together, after everything I gave up, including a great job offer in Chicago just so we could stay close to her family, this wasn't about revenge. It was about keeping my dignity. Still, I didn't expect what happened next. Less than 2 days later, I was sitting on the couch, eating leftover lasagna straight from the container, when my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it roll to voicemail. A minute later, a notification popped up. It was a message. "Hello, this is Rachel Monroe, attorney for Ms. Qley Brennan. We urgently request a call back regarding your mortgage withdrawal, as this action may constitute breach of contract or financial interference. Please contact us immediately." I actually laughed out loud. Urgently request. Huh? Not so calm and composed now, are we? I didn't call them back. I just waited. And like clockwork, more calls came. Then emails. Each one sounding more frantic than the last. They hadn't seen this coming. Qley, being who she is, probably thought I'd be broken, maybe even come crawling back. But I wasn't. I was done. The very next day, Maya, a mutual friend, called me. She sounded uneasy. "Hey," she said, "did you really back out of the house deal?" "Yeah," I told her. She paused. "Okay, because Qley's losing her mind. She already ordered furniture and told her parents they'd have a guest room." I almost said not my problem, but I held back. No sense in kicking up drama, even though I had every reason to. Then Maya added, kind of hesitantly, she said, "You're being vindictive. That this is just you trying to punish her." That made me laugh again. I wasn't out for revenge. I just finally stopped being the sucker. What Qley didn't know, and nobody else did either, was that I'd already started to suspect something before she ever sent that message. Little clues had been stacking up. Late-night texts from unknown contacts. Work meetings that didn't add up. Conversations that stopped cold the second I walked into her room. I didn't want to believe it back then, but deep down, I knew. Now, with everything unraveling, it felt like I was finally seeing her for who she really was. And I decided right then, I wasn't going to react anymore. I'd just observe. So instead of replying to her lawyer or scrambling to fix anything, I went quiet. I let them panic. Let them sweat. Let the silence do the talking. And wouldn't you know it? That's when the truth started surfacing. 2 days later, I got an unexpected knock at the door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I looked through the peephole and there stood her father. I hadn't seen Mr. Brennan since that dinner a month back, when he raised a glass and said how proud he was to welcome me into the family. Now he just looked tired, worn down, maybe even a little ashamed. He didn't even say hi, just blurted out, "What's going on with the house?" I crossed my arms and answered, I'm not buying a house with someone who ends things over text and sends her lawyer to do the talking. You here representing her?" He dropped his gaze and shook his head. "No. I'm here because she won't tell us anything. One minute she's saying the wedding's off, next she's flipping out over furniture orders and credit pulls. We're all just trying to figure out what the hell happened." For a moment, I thought about spilling the whole story. But I didn't. I kept it simple. She ended it. I respected that. Now she gets to live with the outcome. He nodded slowly, muttered something like, "I told her not to do this," and then he left. I watched him walk away, and for the first time in days, I felt peaceful. But that wasn't the end of the story. Not even close to being over. What I didn't realize back then was that Qley hadn't just caught me off guard. She'd been laying the groundwork for something. Something planned. Deliberate. And I was about to find out the real reason she was so hell-bent on getting that house. The first real crack in the wall came from someone I hadn't heard from in months, her cousin, Tyler. We were never particularly close, but we'd shared a few beers at family get-togethers and bonded over both being outsiders in her uptight, curated world. Out of nowhere, he messaged me. "Hey, man. Sorry to hear about everything. I didn't realize how messy it got until now. Just wanted to say, you dodged a bullet." I stared at that message longer than I probably should have before replying. "Appreciate it. But what do you mean exactly?" His answer came back fast. "I probably shouldn't say more. Just ask her about Jordan." Jordan? The name rang no bells at first. Pretty common name. I'd met a couple guys named Jordan at her work events. Maybe even one or two at those awful wine-tasting weekends she used to drag me to. But none of them stood out. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. It was the way Tyler said it, short, nervous, like he was testing the waters. Like even mentioning it was risky. That told me plenty. This wasn't just a random guy. Jordan had something to do with why she really ended things. And I had a sinking feeling I knew what kind of something it was. So I opened up her Instagram. Most of it was locked down now, set to private. But I clicked through the tagged photos. Those are harder to hide. One caught my eye from a friend's engagement party a few weeks back. The same weekend she swore she was sick and staying in. She wasn't in the photo exactly, but there, clear as day, was Jordan. His arm wrapped tight around her waist. Way too close for comfort. And that's when it hit me. While I was sitting at home, heating up soup and finalizing decisions on backsplash tiles, she was out smiling for photos with some guy, pretending to have the flu. That was the moment something in me shifted. The hurt started fading, replaced by something else, clarity. I didn't just want out of this mess. I wanted to disappear from it completely. No loose ends, no lingering ties, no fingerprints left behind. First thing I did was call the mortgage company again, made absolutely sure my withdrawal was locked in stone. I even sent them a screenshot of her breakup message for context. One of the reps let it slip, off the record, of course, that her lawyer had already called them twice, trying to get me re-added to the application. Too little, too late. Then I did something I hadn't done since before the engagement. I called Gavin, my old college roommate, now a real estate attorney based in Chicago. He'd offered me a solid job about a year ago, but I turned it down because Qley insisted we settle down near her folks. I told him I was back in the game. He just laughed and said, "Took you long enough." We set up a video call for Monday. And still, not a word from Qley. That was her usual move. Never confront things head on. Always operated through middlemen, lawyers, mutual friends, backdoor pressure. But I wasn't dancing to her tune anymore. Or at least, that's what I thought. Sunday morning hit, and with it, a storm. I woke up to 32 missed alerts, texts, calls, emails. Not from her. From my bank. Turns out, someone had tried to drain our joint savings account the night before. The one we opened strictly for wedding costs. I put in 10 grand from my year-end bonus to kick things off. That money was supposed to go toward deposits, venue, catering, rentals. But the system flagged the attempt as suspicious because someone tried moving every last dollar into a checking account with just her name on it. I called the bank right away. They froze the account on the spot. While I was still on the line, trying to piece together what just happened, I got an email, subject line, "Urgent regarding wedding funds." It was from Rachel Monroe, Qley's lawyer. "Mr. Fisher, my client is concerned about the funds in your joint account, which were intended for the now-canceled wedding. As she has made several contributions, she believes she is entitled to recover a portion." That was a flat-out lie. She hadn't contributed a single penny to that account. I had records, bank statements, transaction logs, everything. She'd always kept her money separate. Said it gave her flexibility. Now that it was over, I guess she figured she could just walk off with half and call it even. I didn't reply to the email. Instead, I called Gavin again. He didn't even hesitate. "You've got every receipt? Paper trail?" I said, "Yeah, every dollar traced back to me." "Then you're solid," he said. "But listen, if she's desperate enough to try that move, she's not finished." And he was right. That same night, I got a voicemail. From Qley herself. The first time I'd heard her voice since that cold, robotic breakup text. Her tone was shaky, emotional, like she was trying to sound like a wounded soul. Hey. I didn't want things to end like this. I panicked. Okay? Things got complicated, and I didn't know how to talk to you. Please believe me, I wasn't trying to hurt you. I played it twice. Then I deleted it. Didn't respond. Because here's the thing, once you show someone that you're not afraid to walk away, they start to get scared. Qley had always been the one in control. That was her thing. She ran the show, set the rules, expected everyone to fall in line. What she wasn't used to, what she never saw coming, was someone flipping the script on her. Monday rolled in, and so did Gavin's official job offer. Remote for now, relocation package if I wanted it. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I had options again. Like maybe I was steering my own life for once. But then Tuesday hit, and that's when the last thread snapped. I got another call from Maya. Her voice was tight, strained. Like she'd been crying. You should know. Qley's pregnant. I went completely still. She's telling everyone it's yours, Maya added. My heart just stopped. But then she kept going. Jordan's been staying at her place every night since the breakup. People are starting to talk. My voice came out low. Did she say how far along? 8 weeks. Supposedly. I did the math right then and there. 8 weeks ago, Qley was deep into a juice cleanse. Wouldn't let me near her. Said she was resetting her body for the honeymoon. That was the last time we were intimate, 9 weeks ago, maybe. Barely. Which meant, yeah, there was a very real chance that kid wasn't mine. But she was already planting seeds, setting the stage to tie me to her in the most permanent way possible. Whether it was true or not, she could drag me through court for years over this. She was out of the mortgage, but now she wanted back in through something else. Something scarier. And the worst part? I knew exactly what move she was going to make next. I didn't sleep that night. Just laid there, staring at the ceiling, trying to piece it all together, the timing, the lies, the real reason she ended things with a damn text instead of facing me like a human being. Because that's what it was, wasn't it? A maneuver. Not a moment of heartbreak. A strategy. She hadn't fallen out of love, she'd been calculating an exit. Controlling the story before I ever had a chance to speak up. And now? She was claiming to be pregnant with my child. Except she wasn't. Not unless biology works different for her. We hadn't touched each other in weeks before she ended things. By then, she was already distant, cold, even. Talking about pre-wedding purity like she was prepping for sainthood. I chalked it up to her quirks at the time. Figured maybe she just wanted to feel renewed. But now it was obvious she was pulling away because she'd already messed up. Or made a choice she couldn't take back. And Jordan? He wasn't some rebound. He was the reason. The next morning, her lawyer came knocking again, this time with more heat. The tone wasn't friendly anymore. Given the ongoing circumstances, it read, my client is considering legal action related to financial abandonment and emotional distress. She also asks that you be formally notified of her pregnancy and your presumed parental responsibilities. Presumed. That one word made my blood boil. They were trying to corner me, get me to react, slip up, say something they could use against me in court. But I didn't lose my head. I got strategic. I called Gavin again and laid it all out. The so-called pregnancy. The timing that didn't add up. The financial threats. He was calm, cool as ever. Get ahead of it, he said. You need a documented response. Paper trail. Make it clear who's trying to manipulate who. So that's what I did. I found a local attorney that afternoon. Dana Schultz. She was sharp, didn't waste words. She didn't coddle either, which was exactly what I needed. Dana drafted a formal response and sent it to Rachel, Qley's lawyer, first thing the next morning. In clear, cold legal language, the letter said I denied paternity until a verified DNA test could be completed. Until then, I wouldn't be offering emotional or financial support. Any future attempts to access joint funds or frame me as abusive would be treated as defamation and met with legal counteraction. She even slipped in a demand for Qley's full financial disclosure, just in case Qley decided to come after me for anything tied to the house that never happened. No more playing nice. I wasn't pulling punches anymore. Barely 2 hours after that email hit her lawyer's inbox, Qley started calling. No voicemail this time, just back-to-back rings. 6 times in one afternoon. I didn't answer. But later that evening, Dana got a call from Rachel. She said Qley felt ambushed. That we were escalating a private matter. That it should have stayed between us. Dana didn't miss a beat. She made it public the moment she involved legal counsel and started making threats. My client is simply responding. I wanted to say I felt nothing at that point. That I was stoned. But the truth? I felt everything. Rage. Sadness. A deep, hollow kind of regret. Not because we were over. I was past that. No, I regretted all the red flags I brushed off. Like how she refused to merge our finances until we were married. or how she had to control every part of our social calendar, or how she'd laugh off any talk of a prenup with, "Don't you trust me?" I should have known better. But the hardest part? Somewhere in me, some small, foolish part, I still wanted to believe this wasn't real. That maybe she was scared. Maybe Jordan was a mistake. Maybe she was trying to undo what she broke. But reality's funny like that. It doesn't whisper. It punches you straight in the mouth when you're not paying attention. And that punch I'd been waiting for? It landed 2 nights later, straight from Jordan. It was around 10 p.m. I was home, alone, half watching something forgettable on TV when I got a Facebook message from a profile I didn't recognize. No photo. Just the name, Jordan. The message read, "We should talk. I don't want to be part of whatever game she's playing." I stared at it for a long while. My hands were actually shaking. Eventually, I typed back, "Talk." He replied, "She told me you two were already done. Said the wedding was called off months ago, and you were just helping her get a house out of guilt." My blood pressure spiked. That was a lie so bold I almost laughed. I wrote back, "We were engaged until the day she texted me it was over." That day, not before. Jordan went quiet. Maybe 10 minutes. Then he sent another bomb. "She said you hit her." The floor disappeared under me. "What?" "That's what she told me," he said. "That she was scared of you. That you had anger issues and used to break things when you were mad." I sat there, stunned. I had never, not once, laid a hand on Qley. Never even raised my voice in a way that could be called threatening. Yeah, we'd argued. Mostly about time. She always put her friends first, made our relationship feel like a calendar appointment she could reschedule. But violence? Never. "Do you believe that?" I asked. He took his time again. Then he said, "No, not anymore." The next morning, I called Dana. Told her everything: Jordan's message, the abuse claims, the twisted timeline Qley was feeding him. Dana didn't hesitate. She filed a protective counterbrief that day. Basically a legal safety net, just in case Qley tried to weaponize false abuse claims for sympathy or leverage in court. This thing was getting darker than I ever could have imagined. But it wasn't done unraveling. Not even close. Friday hit, and I got an email from the mortgage lender. It wasn't one of those automated updates, it was a personal apology. Said they'd been contacted again by Rachel Monroe, Qley's lawyer, asking if there was any way to move forward with the loan without me. Qley had submitted a new document claiming I'd removed myself from the mortgage willingly, with no financial interest. Only problem? I hadn't signed a damn thing. The bank flagged it immediately. She'd forged my name. I sent everything to Dana. 10 minutes went by with radio silence. Then she called me. "This is fraud," she said. "We can take this to the police." But I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. I didn't want to press charges. I just wanted it to be over. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. Qley was unraveling, and desperate people don't tend to go quietly. The week that followed was pure chaos. Every day brought something new: a letter, a threat, a fabricated story. Qley and her lawyer were flailing, trying to stir the pot, keep me on my heels. But it wasn't working. The more she tried to control the narrative, the more she exposed herself. Then Maya called again. This time, she was whispering like she didn't want anyone to overhear. "You won't believe this," she said. "Qley, she's telling people she miscarried." My stomach hit the floor. What? I didn't mean to shout, but it just came out. She posted about it last night. Now everyone's messaging her with condolences. She's telling them she lost the baby right after the breakup. I couldn't move. I just sat there, frozen. My mind racing. Was this her new angle? Paint herself as the grieving victim? Soften the betrayal? Gain sympathy? Control the story again? I didn't even know if it was true. But I knew what it felt like: another ploy. Another desperate grasp for attention, pity, power. She wasn't just losing control, she was spiraling. Not long after that, Rachel reached out to Dana again. But this time, the tone had changed. The aggression was gone. They were trying to sound reasonable now. "We understand things have escalated beyond what anyone expected," she wrote. "Qley is dealing with personal matters. We'd like to avoid further conflict." Dana wasn't having it. She reminded them firmly of the forgery, the lies, the financial manipulation. "If this continues," she said, "we're no longer talking about a civil matter. We're talking about criminal charges." And she meant it. I won't lie. There was something deeply satisfying about that. After all the emotional blackmail, the threats, the lies, she was finally cornered. All her scheming was out in the open. The mask had slipped. That Friday, the bank called again. It wasn't just about the mortgage anymore. It was about Qley's forged documents. They'd flagged everything, and now they'd handed the case over to the authorities. The wheels were officially turning. This wasn't just a messy breakup anymore. It was criminal. I forwarded everything to Dana. She didn't waste a second, booked a meeting with the prosecutor's office. It was serious now. And as the days went on, Qley's attempts to spin the story only made things worse for her. She was out of tricks. Her empire of half-truths and drama was collapsing in on itself, and all I had to do was keep standing. Her social media started spiraling. Crying selfies, cryptic posts about being misunderstood, and those vague little jabs about how some people just want to ruin the good in her life. It was a slow-motion unraveling. The confident, polished woman I once thought I'd marry had completely come apart, grasping at whatever sympathy or attention she could get. And me? I didn't respond. Not once. I didn't comment, didn't like, didn't engage. Not out of spite. Out of peace. Because by then, it wasn't about the money. Wasn't even about the house. It was about control and how Qley had spent our entire relationship thinking she could puppeteer every part of it, including me. She thought she could humiliate me and walk away untouched. But here's the truth. I've been in control all along. The moment I chose not to play her game, I'd won. I didn't need to shout back. Didn't need to drag things into the dirt. All I had to do was hold the line. And then came the phone call. A Wednesday I won't forget. It was her dad again. But this time, something in his voice had shifted. Gone was the icy, formal tone of a man trying to stay neutral. What I heard now was exhaustion. Shame. Maybe even regret. I owe you an apology, he said. I didn't say anything. I was wrong. About everything. I should have known something wasn't right. Qley's been lying. To all of us. And just like that, everything clicked. Years of trying to earn this man's respect. Years of doubting myself because I never seemed to measure up. And now here he was, admitting he'd been played too. He told me everything. How she'd been sneaking around with Jordan long before she ended things with me. How the pregnancy was fake. The miscarriage too. How she borrowed money from her parents to keep the whole illusion alive. To sell the image of stability. Of heartbreak. Of innocence. I'd spent so much time wondering what I did wrong when the truth was, I'd just been her safest bet. A pawn. I'm sorry, he said again. We'll make this right. However we can. But there was nothing to make right. No apology could erase the gaslighting, the betrayal, the emotional damage. And yet, I didn't feel angry. Not really. I just felt done. So I walked away. I blocked her number. Deleted every trace of her from my phone, my socials, my life. Packed up a few of her things, just the sentimental ones I knew she'd notice were missing, and left them at her parents' doorstep without a word. She tried to reach out a few more times. But by then, I was so far removed from the man I'd been, from the version of me who thought loving her was enough, that I couldn't bring myself to care. And that was the hardest truth of all. Realizing that the woman I'd fallen for, she never truly existed. She was just the version she let me see. A performance. A character in a story she was writing for herself. And I was just a supporting role. A year's gone by since all that. From what I hear, her life's still a mess, but honestly, I don't keep track. I don't look. I don't wonder. As for me, I've moved on. Bought a new place. It's mine. The mortgage is in my name. The furniture's what I like. The silence feels like freedom. And if there's one thing I walked away with, one truth I'll carry for the rest of my life, it's this. Don't let someone else's manipulation define your story. I was a fool once. But never again.